Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2019 Summer Launch Program Company Showcase. All right. My name is Kate Perschke. I am a rising junior at Georgetown in the McDonough School of Business, and I've spent the last few months of this summer here in the Venture Lab. As a part of the summer internship program, I've spent half of my time working on projects for Georgetown Entrepreneurship, and then the rest of my time with a startup founded by a Georgetown grad. It's been an incredible experience, and I'm so lucky to have had this opportunity. It's been great to meet all the founders that work out of the Venture Lab and learn about the Georgetown entrepreneurship community, and really to see all of the great resources and systems of support that maybe one day will come in handy if and or when I decide to start my own business. Another part of the summer that everyone has loved has been seeing the summer launch participants come in every Thursday. And I promise that's not just because it means free lunch. It's been really cool to see them work with their mentors, get some guidance and advice, and really build their businesses. They've all come so far and done so much this summer, and with a group this talented and experienced mentors like Mark, Shai, and our entrepreneurs in residence, we're not very surprised. So we're so glad that you all could join us tonight, and we're very excited to hear from our participants. Before we get started on the presentations, I'd like to invite Jeff Reed, founding director of the Georgetown Entrepreneurship Initiative, to say a few words.
All right. All right. Thank you, Kate. Wonderful, wonderful student, our MC here. Awesome. So thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. We have an awesome presentation scheduled for you. We also have an awesome audience. I wanted to make sure to make a special welcome to a few groups we have. Well, hold on, let's see here. Where do I go? All right. First of all, tonight's program and the whole summer launch program is made possible by some special people. I'd like to thank the Bob Seidler, the Peloso family, Mark Silverman. Mark's here tonight. We want to just, would you join me in thanking the folks who make our program possible? We have some special guests. I'd like to welcome the Capital University of Economics and Business, our friends over here. Awesome. And Bowie State in the house. All right. And Loyola University, Maryland. There we go. All right, Wendy. Awesome. Do we have, I think we have some of our, is there anybody here that's about to start the Georgetown MBA program? Awesome. All right. Welcome. Welcome. Orientation starts tomorrow. Is that right? They start tomorrow. So glad you're here. And we have former participants in our summer launch program. We have alumni. It's an awesome group. We welcome everybody here tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. All right. So before we kick off the presentations, I'll just tell you briefly, Georgetown Entrepreneurship has a lot of stuff going on all year long. We have programs for students across the university to learn about entrepreneurship, to develop an entrepreneurial mindset. Doesn't matter whether you're business, law, philosophy, any degree program, we think you should develop that entrepreneurial mindset, right? So we have courses, pitch competitions. You're going to learn about our summer launch program. We have mentors. Raise your hand if you're a Georgetown entrepreneur in residence or summer launch mentor. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Amazing people as a part of our community. Our overall mission is not to create a certain set of programs or to encourage everybody to start companies. It's really about developing a culture and a community. And tonight you can see that community here. If you haven't visited our Venture Lab, let me ask, who here is a member of our Venture Lab, our alumni entrepreneurs? Awesome, all right. If you haven't seen the Georgetown Venture Lab, you have to walk through that door and check it out. So definitely go look at it. Like, people come to events here and they don't even realize that the amazing space right through there is where we have 38 alumni-led entrepreneurial startups that are all housed there and share a set of common resources and build a community here. So we have stuff going on all the time. Tonight we're going to focus on our summer launch program, and you'll hear about that in just a minute. I have one last welcome, and that's to Dean Kelly Otter of the School of Continuing Studies. We want to thank you for being here tonight. Awesome. All right. And now I'm going to turn it over to two amazing people who teach courses for us, who are advisors, entrepreneurs in residence, and they are co-directors of our summer launch program. They've been leading this program for a few years and have taken it to all new levels. To tell you more about it and to help introduce tonight's program, Mark Starin and Shai Gilad.
Hello. Thank you, Jeff. My name is Shai Gilad. My colleague Mark Starin and I have had the great fortune to work with these amazing students this summer. And I want to just take a minute just to tell you a little bit about what you're about to see this evening. So at Georgetown, we have a very expansive view of entrepreneurship. It's not just about capitalism and making a few dollars. That's helpful. Job creation is also very helpful. But we believe that there's no greater platform for teaching empathy and understanding and for teaching leadership. And that's something we think this world needs a whole lot of, especially at this moment in time. So when students come into this program, it's not just to explore their business ideas, but it's to expand their capacity to believe in what's possible in a future that they can help create. And in doing so, they sign up for 8 weeks of a very intensive incubator. They're getting a lot of programs that Mark has really leaned in and helped develop and design and brought us a lot of structure around. And we put them through the ringer. So every Thursday they meet for some programming in the morning, and then they have individual one-on-one meetings with their mentors. We have a great group of EIRs tonight we're going to talk about that help them on their journey along the way. And then they go out with a very specific assignment that week. Worse yet, they have to talk to me and Mark every Monday, let us know how it's going. And then they go back out and wash, rinse, and repeat. And it takes a special kind of person, someone with an awful lot of courage and a really positive attitude to go out week after week and find out that their idea is completely wrong and not what they thought it was the week before, and still come back and try to say, okay, now what do I got to do next? So what you're going to see tonight is it's not Shark Tank. It's not, hey, I made this great thing. Do you want to invest in it? Do you want to buy it? It's more about this journey that they took and what they had to discover, because these are very early stage ideas that they came in with. And what you will find is that many of them along the way have come to an outcome where they can now determine whether it's time to lean in and double down on this idea that they have, or whether they've learned something different that they want to explore. But all of them will leave here with some new skills that they will be able to apply in many places in their life. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mark for a few words.
Sure. Georgetown University is a very special place for us. And Shai and I were talking about it in the back. What makes Georgetown so special? And there's two really amazing components of Georgetown. First are the students, right? You'll hear some amazing causes, from helping women in Africa to helping businesses in low-income areas. They are just, it is such a privilege to work with them every year. So thank you, students. If we could give a nice applause to them, they're awesome. The second group that we want to thank is really part of our community, and they help Shai and myself and Jeff and everyone else here. They are the EIR mentors, and we just want to say thank you. If they could all stand up. Can you slide that next slide? These are all the wonderful mentors that help us. So again, just a nice round of applause for all the people that make this happen. So let's bring out Kate. She's the great MC, and then let's get the show on the road. Thanks, everyone.
All right, so without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have Katie Fisher with Unveil.
Hi, thank you guys for coming. My name is Katie Fisher, and I am the founder and CEO of Unveil. Unveil is a social enterprise women's intimates line. With every purchase of a pair of panties here in the United States, you're providing a woman or girl in a developing country with a washable, reusable period panty. Through our partnership with B-Girl, who is in just the past 5 years now in 50 different developing countries and has supported 1.3 million menstrual cycles around the world, which is incredible, and I truly am so excited to work with them. This idea really came about for me after I worked with at-risk youth in Liberia last summer, when I learned of the severity of these issues, which made me come back really determined to find a solution, and a creative solution at that, which led me to Georgetown, where I'm now studying, getting my master's in emergency and disaster management and writing my thesis on similar issues. So this is when Unveil was born. And I know to many women in this audience, menstruating is an inconvenience, but I want to first touch on what it's like to menstruate in a developing country. This is Munez. She's 44 years old from Uganda, and this is the hole in front of her that she digs every single month, which she sits over for 5 to 7 days while she's menstruating. In the middle, we have a 23-year-old Limpo from Zambia. This is the cow dung that she places in her underwear every single month to soak up the blood while she's menstruating. And this is Lapira Joyce, 22 years old from Uganda. She cuts a small piece of goat skin, which acts as a sanitary pad every month while menstruating. 1 in 4 girls are dropping out of school in developing countries every single year purely because they don't have the access or the affordability to menstrual products. In Kenya alone, 3.5 million learning days are missed monthly due to this same issue. And there is a 69% drop in enrollment rate from primary school to secondary school for girls in developing countries. And this is the age when girls start to menstruate. 50% of our world is women, and it's time that we acknowledge this and find a solution. So what I thought was with a large and growing lingerie industry, a large portion of the market share being millennial women, along with a Morgan Stanley statistic that states 89% of women millennial are interested in socially responsible investing, I thought if I created a regular day-to-day pair of panty, like anything else on the market here, tacking on this social good, social enterprise where you're providing a period panty with every purchase, that would equal success and money and fame. I had a lot of work to do this summer, but before I move on, I do want to note that they are mindfully different products. So what a woman will be receiving here with her purchase is just a day-to-day pair of underwear. It's not for menstruation, rather than for the girl abroad, is specifically a menstrual panty. Over the past 4 months, I completed 50 customer interviews, analyzed 129 survey responses, completed over 1,000 hours of market research in the United States and in Kenya. I am almost done with a fashion certificate through Parsons and my one dream partnership with B-Girl that can make this all happen in the developing world. I came to 6 key findings. One, that 96% of women hate the process of buying underwear in the domestic market purely out of inconvenience. After interviewing several different OBGYN doctors, I realized and learned that you are supposed to throw away your undergarments 2 to 3 times a year for health and wellness purposes. Almost all women I spoke to were shocked to hear the statistic, 49% of which were using their underwear far past its expiration date. 76% of women have a desire to incorporate greater sustainability in their lives, yet 96% of women throw away their underwear in the trash. Sizing and fit is the largest issue that women face, with 49% wanting a solution to more specific sizing. Comfort is what matters most to almost all women, with 96% marking this as a priority. And lastly, almost all women I spoke to were bothered by menstrual staining in their day-to-day panties, and 61% actively want a solution to that. So this really broke it down into 2 key ideas for me. 1, the shopping process as a whole, and then 2, certain features that are not yet being acknowledged in this industry. From here, I set out to test that through creating ads on Facebook, Instagram, and Google. The first ad I created highlighted a stain-resistant material, and the second ad I created highlighted a panty shopping experience that was made easy. This really shows that people are looking for a solution and a new way to reinvent the shopping experience with a 2% click-through rate to my website, but also that there may be something there with this stain-resistant feature with 1%. So really, what this comes down to is the entire process around shopping, owning, and disposing of underwear is abysmal. It is 2019, and women deserve more. What I will do next is continue to hone in and refine both Hypothesis 1 and Hypothesis 2 with the goal of ideally incorporating all of it into one great business. So just continuing to hone in on key product differentiators, and then also highlighting a revolutionary new subscription service that Unveil has launched, well, will launch, which is a personalized subscription which you can adapt to your frequency and amount, convenience in your home, for the first time ever be able to try on underwear before you commit to it, and even better, in the comfort of your home. So send back whatever doesn't fit and we will sustainably recycle it. Through our send back service, we prioritize wellness by giving you a pre-labeled shipping package with every new shipment that you receive, so that you're able to get rid of your old underwear when you're supposed to, but also is incorporating an easy way to become sustainable because these shipping labels will be sent to a regional recycling center. All of this while helping a girl in need. I'm seeking a business partner. I'm seeking advisors, mentorships, connections in the fashion industry, and any woman in the audience who might be interested in my beta testing list, my pre-order list, and lastly, anyone who I could interview for further market research would be great. Find me after. And lastly, I just want to end on a positive note. I just was blessed to spend the last several weeks in Kenya, where Unveil was able to provide its first donation distribution to 50 girls in the slums of Nairobi. We provided 50 menstrual kits, which will last them the next 3 years, and also education around the beauty around menstruation and self-defense as well. Diana Nelson with Days for Girls International, who helped me coordinate this event, really says it best. An investment in a girl is ultimately an investment in the community. These girls can be the change. We can be the change. It is time to stand up for injustice and to be brave to stomp taboos. And I invite you to join me on this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Katie. Next up, we have Omar Sobi presenting Sobi Squash.
All right, thank you. So before I start, raise your hand if you've ever played a racket sport before. And now, put your hands down. Raise your hand if you've ever played squash before. All right, not bad. We got some squash players in here. So I'm Omar Sobi. And my business, I'm the CEO of Sobi Squash Academy. We are an elite squash coaching company, and our goal is to become the best squash training company in the world. Unlike a bunch of other summer launch program members, I have an existing business. We have one location right now in Baltimore, and we offer a variety of camps, clinics, lessons, all focused around the sport squash. My business, thank God, has been successful over the past few years, and it's helped pay for my MBA at Georgetown. And I've also helped clients get recruited to all 8 Ivy League schools. Now, the story really starts with my family, where you could say we are some of the most passionate squash players out there, and some might call us the who's who family of squash in the United States and in the world. So we've set a variety of different records, including the longest win streak in college. Every person in my immediate family has won at least one national championship. We've won gold medals at the Pan American Games. We've won world championships, and we've been profiled in the Boston Globe and the New York Times. Most importantly, my business, myself, my family, my team, we really care about our students. And when we hear from them that we changed their lives, that we helped them out, that we really made a difference, that's what lets us know that what we're doing is amazing work. So the squash market is actually stronger than most of you might think. 2 million people play in the US. It's got a 66% growth rate. $300,000 is the annual household income of squash families, and it has helped players get recruited to some of the top colleges in the US and in the world, and it's been pronounced the healthiest sport according to Forbes magazine. So I came into the summer launch program with a business, a location, and a challenge. I'm really running everything myself in one spot, and I'm totally maxed out. So I want to figure out how can I grow this thing to become the best squash academy in the world and have a global footprint. So my initial hypothesis was that I could license or franchise the Sobi methodology. Clearly, my family has something special that's helped us become good players, that's helped us train a lot of really good players and help them get recruited. So I wanted to focus on testing out, can I train other coaches to have this high quality? Can I also create a system around my training as well as some sort of assessment where I can let people know their progress and I can get players better than any other academies out there? And I also wanted to test, how am I going to get more people not only aware of squash but aware of my business and playing the game and training with us? So I tested 3 different solutions: a coaching certification, a minimum viable product of the coaching app, and a referral program also. Test results for the certification led me to get 100% of the pros that I talked to were not satisfied with the limited certification offered today. 87% of assistant coaches said if I was gonna do a certification, they would be interested in signing up. Test results for the coaching app led to 100% of my existing clients saying that they would pay anywhere from $5 to $500 a month for some sort of application that would help manage their training and assess their progress over time. For the referral program, I was able to generate 7 new referrals, and my summer camp and clinic revenues have hit all-time highs. Next steps are that I'm going to continue to work on and beta test an application for the coaching app this fall with all of my existing clients. I'm also going to work on developing a certification where any pro and coach that works for me is going to have to go through the certification so I can develop a bigger and better version of the coaching app and a certification moving forward. I'm also going to continue testing the referral program to see how many referrals we can get, especially within the online space. So please help us build the first global squash empire. And please, if you know anyone from big sports brands like IMG, Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, please come find me afterwards or shoot me an email at my email below. If you know anyone that has done something that I'm looking to do, whereas take a good product and service offering in one location and scale it and grow it, please help connect me to them. And last but not least, I will be having a free squash event for anyone here who wants to come, August 17th, at my location at Meadow Mill Athletic Club in Baltimore. So if you want to try squash and you want to try training with us, please come on over August 17th. All right, thank you so much. I'm Omar Sobi from Sobi Squash Academy.
All right, great. Next up, we have Dajane Burton with ABG Elite.
Hi everybody, my name is Dajane Burton and I'm the founder of ABG Elite. And I plan on developing a monster real estate investment company that implements a double bottom line business strategy. We plan on taking on residential investment properties in the Baltimore, Maryland area, renovating them, and maintaining the ownership and equity within the community for native residents. ABG operates under a M&M module, money and morality. And ABG is a company that's equally invested in the return on objective and a return on investment. And I know what you're thinking. Out of all things to make an impact, why real estate, right? So I'm gonna tell you. I'm from Baltimore. And actually I was born in that exact house. And I grew up in a poverty-stricken neighborhood that was high in crime and that was high in drugs as well. And it wasn't always the most desirable place to be, excuse me. But other times, it was literally no other place I'd rather go. And especially on blazing hot summer days, and just popping open a fire hydrant and dancing in the water all day and eating popsicles and everything. And this is actually the first street where I picked up my first basketball, which will then lead to me getting an education here at Georgetown. This was the birth of a beautiful ghetto, this very house. So this house has a lot of sentimental value for me, and even to my granddad. And he owned this house, free and clear. He was very proud of that, very proud. And it was the only tangible asset that he had to pass down to 11 of his children. After he died, my aunt decided to sell the house for $3,000 in 2005. Today, This house is worth $100,000 with just cosmetic repairs. Just last September, the house a few doors down sold for $245,000. So needless to say, the property value on this block is rising by the minute. And pretty soon, my grandfather's house is going to be worth $300,000. So fast forward 2 weeks before my graduation, my dad died with $12 in his bank account. 12. And then it clicked. It clicked. And I realized that I needed to know my RBCs as well as my ABCs, real estate, business, and credit. But more importantly, adversity builds character. It really does. But I don't want you guys to get it messed up. My story is literally a raindrop in the ocean. This happens every day. Literally. It's a microcosm of a much larger problem bigger than you and I. And I saw firsthand what a lack of knowledge could cost you. It could cost you an heirloom. It could cost you equity. It can cost you a life even. So I decided to educate myself. And soon after, I started to see results. This house behind me is the first house that I sold. And the profit, even after the check cleared, it wasn't about the money. I still had a burning desire to really understand the business and how it worked, like the back of my hand. So that's why summer launch is important, because it allowed me to actively educate myself on something that I was already passionate about, which was easy. I just had to do the work. So that's what I did. I conducted 51 interviews, and most of them were sophisticated investors with commercial and real estate portfolios. Residential portfolios, I'm sorry. Active and passive investors, contractors, mortgage reps, bankers, brokers, Omar. And it was beautiful, but I noticed that they all had different intentions. So a good deal, my critical assumption, my first critical assumption, I had a number of them. My advisors would tell you coming in, but we'll focus on 2 for the sake of time, guys. So my first critical assumption was that everybody wanted to buy a house and make money. But that wasn't the case. Not everybody is passionate about real estate, and it's in a million ways that you can make money. But even the ones that did wanted to buy property in markets that they were already familiar in. And that was surprising to me. But it led to my second critical assumption, was that it's intricacies in every market. And those intricacies could make or break a deal. And those nuances aren't always accounted for on the apps and platforms that investors use to brief themselves on properties and figure out whether or not they want to make an investment. So, what I plan to do next, I plan on acquiring. And these are some houses that I got the pleasure of running in and out of during the program. So I plan on acquiring 5 to 10 within the next 2 to 3 years, really build my portfolio, enhance my brand, and accelerate it. But then I'll be able to move on to phase 2 of my company, which is to repackage the intellectual property that I've accumulated up until that point and put it into a book, a curriculum, a seminar, and even a class, so I can educate other people who are in my situation on how to build generational wealth and how to leave a legacy. So my ask of you today is familiarize me with your network. And if you're interested in parking your money into a financial vehicle that'll give you better returns than your own bank, I'll be sure to talk to you after. Thank you.
All right, great. Next up, we have William Mortimer with Delegate Dash.
Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. My name is William Mortimer, and I'm a senior in the college studying computer science at Georgetown. And I'm here to introduce my company, Delegate Dash. Now, Delegate Dash is a web-based platform that helps Model United Nations conferences run better. So, some of you might not know what Model United Nations is. So Model United Nations, or MUN, is a debate-style academic tournament where students take on the role of United Nations delegates representing their countries on issues across a broad spectrum of policy and geopolitical conflicts. Now, Model United Nations might sound like a small business, but I assure you, it's not. 400 conferences around the world take over 1 million delegates from 6 continents every year. And large conferences like Georgetown's own Naaman Conference have over 3,200 delegates attend every year, have 250 staff members, and generate hundreds and thousands of dollars of revenue. Now, there's a problem with Model United Nations, and that is that it's complicated. With a conference like Georgetown, the scale is massive, and managing 250 staff members and 3,200 delegates is complicated. People tend to go with bootstrap solutions. They'll use a mess of social media apps, small web platforms, and custom Google Docs sheets shared across the committee to keep track of all the information that is needed to make a conference run smoothly. Enter Delegate Dash, a modern web platform that simplifies every step of the Model United Nations process. So, like every great technology entrepreneurial story, Delegate Dash started with a computer science student who had an issue in their own life. So at last year's Naaman Conference, me and 2 of my friends were planning on chairing a committee. And we realized chairing a committee is awful. There's so many logistical issues, and it's just too much work. So me and my friends partnered together and set out to build a better version of this service. We developed an MVP that was tested at Georgetown's Naaman Conference, and the results were fantastic. Staff and delegates alike were unanimous in saying that they loved the platform and they thought that it innovated the Model UN experience. And not only that, but Georgetown loved it so much that they signed up for a beta program with our software for the coming February at Georgetown's Naaman Conference, and they agreed to a partnership where we can share their branding. And that means a lot because Georgetown's Naaman Conference is one of the most prestigious conferences in the world. So, enter summer launch. I had a product that I was proud of that I thought fit a market. That was my assumption. So, I came in with questions. I wanted to evaluate the MUN market and know if people actually desired this service. 2, I wanted to improve the software and make it better. And 3, I wanted to see if there were other markets, anything else that this technology could be applied to. So what did I do? Well, I interviewed people. I interviewed 27 key personnel that run MUN conferences around the country. I also did 19 interviews with Model United Nations delegate and staff members and iteratively improved my platform. And 3, I explored other academic competitions. I did over 14 interviews in a variety of academic competition spaces like debate, Junior Statesman of America, and mock trial. And what did I learn? Well, first, I confirmed a market need. With my interviews, I got fantastic feedback. People love the idea and they want this service. Over half of my interviewees said that they would be willing to pay between $1,000 and $5,000 a year for this service, and that they're, and then 2, what did I learn? I learned that I need to broaden the scope of this platform. So while people loved the features that I built myself to run Model United Nations committee, what I didn't do was build a platform that runs a Model United Nations conference. There were 3 key areas that I identified: signups and payment, planning and organization, and 3, the day of logistics and communication that are required to run a Model United Nations conference. And 3, I identified several future markets, and I'm excited to expand this platform once I hit the ground running with Model UN. So, with those 3 key ideas in mind, I took a rough communication and scoring application into a full Model United Nations software platform that handles every step of the conference planning process. So what's next? Well, first, I'm excited to announce that today I will be launching my website, www.delegatedash.com, which will be hosting marketing information about our software and we'll be taking beta sign-up testers for this software. So, leading up to this February's Naaman conference, I plan to sign up between 5 and 10 high school and college conferences around the country to try out my software, help me make it better, and spread the word. And 3, I'm preparing for a full release at February's Naaman conference. With the track record under our belt and Naaman's brand name, we plan to see our software in the hands of delegates across the country. Now, what do I need to do that? Well, first, I need software development mentorship. If anyone in the audience wants to help me out and has some experience, I have a host of problems with scaling, design, and UI, UX experience that I would love to get your opinion on. 2, I need funding to accelerate this. I need to drive money into growth and design, and I need money to start a grassroots marketing campaign to tell everyone in the country about Delegate Dash. And 3, this is kind of a long shot, but if anyone knows any MUN conference staff or managers, shoot them my way. Send them to www.delegatedash.com and tell them to learn more. Yeah, so thank you everyone for your time. I just wanted to end this by saying thank you so much to everyone that's been involved in this program. The entrepreneurs in residence, the staff of the Georgetown Summer Launch Program, the interns, and the people that provide their time and money to make this program possible. I learned so much throughout this process. I really accelerated my business, and I'm just really grateful for everything I had through this experience. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, William. Next up, we have Dennis Craig II with Farley Craig Capital.
How you guys doing? My name is Dennis Craig II, and I'm a recent graduate of Georgetown Law. For any of you that are familiar with law school, you know that means that next week I'm sitting for the bar, so I'm asking for your well wishes with that. But today, I'm here to present to you about my company, Farley Craig Capital, which is something that I'm so passionate about. I spent this summer working extremely hard on it while also studying for the bar. And with Farley Craig Capital, our goal is to empower underrepresented entrepreneurs. So in 2018, when I was studying at law school, I came across these extremely disheartening numbers that showed that 1% of minority-led companies and only 2% of women-led companies were receiving venture capital deals. And to me, that was extremely disheartening because I know plenty of minority entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs who were building what I thought and I know are great companies. So what I did was I did a little bit of research. I actually did a supervised research project at Georgetown Law where I worked with a professor and I dug deeper into the numbers. And I really tried to figure out what it was that was the problem. And the main problem that we came across was that there was a lack of access to capital, a lack of lack of access to human information and financial capital. And so I'm proud to announce that that research that I did is being turned into a book that I'm going to be releasing at the top of next year. But I also took the time and really thought, you know, with all these issues, why don't I try to do something about it? So I teamed up with 2 of my really good friends from Howard University, and we decided to start our own firm to invest in these entrepreneurs. Now, at the first thought of it, you know, now having gone through this process, I realize how difficult it is. But at the time, I was like, oh, I'm a Hoya. I go to Georgetown. It shouldn't be that hard. Let's try it. So we pulled $50,000 of our own money together, and we started investing in companies. We made 3 investments, all through which we vetted, we were introduced to. We actually sourced a bunch of other deals. And through that time, we realized that, oh, with all these companies that we're coming across and all these great ideas that we're running into, why don't we scale our operations? And actually, I failed to mention, we actually were a finalist in the Bark Tank competition last year for our work. That's good. So with all this knowledge, with all these companies we had access to, with all this information, you know, we came into the summer thinking, we've done so well, why don't we raise $1 million to invest in minority and led businesses and startups? And so that's what my critical assumption. I came in thinking that investors would be just as interested in this problem that I'm trying to solve, and looking for return on investment. Because also with that information and that research that I came across unveiled was that minority and women entrepreneurs were actually outperforming their peers. And so I did about 15 investor interviews. I spoke with angel investors, institutional investors, and venture capitalists. And what I realized was I had a big goal. Through those conversations, which were a mixture of, is this impact capital? Is this impact investing? Are you only going after small businesses? Are you only going after scalable entrepreneurs? Like, what is it that you're actually trying to do? And for me, it made so much sense because we had already done it before. But obviously, when you're using your own money, it's a lot easier than when you're asking an investor to invest in your company. So what I did was I went back to the drawing board. I went back to entrepreneurs. I went and spoke with some nonprofit leaders. I went and spoke with some small business owners. And I went and spoke with some startup founders to really try to figure out what are the issues that they're facing in their companies. What is it that's kind of, getting them to plateau as they seek outside funding? Because aside from it's just not the money, there has to be something else. And what I realized was a lot of these companies, because they're spending so much time working on their businesses, they don't have time to really think long term. They don't have the time to do their business planning. They don't have time to participate in summer launch programs because they're working on their businesses every day. And so in that, we've came across a unique opportunity, which we're now going to be taking into the fall with us. And that's to create an on-demand business development program that these companies will be able to access in their own time. Some of the things that they told us were issues for them were their business plans, operations, sales and marketing, their legal structure, net income loss metrics, and access to capital. Things that we plan to provide for them through producing this content that is available to them. Because also the thing that was really interesting when I spoke with a lot of the investors was that they said, what is your unique deal source? How are you bringing these companies? How are you spotting companies? And through this platform, we're going to be able to create a community in which these entrepreneurs will not only be having access to this information, but they'll also give us a chance to look at the companies and vet them much earlier in the process and help them scale to that solution. So what I need from you, what we need from you, what the venture community needs from you is we're looking for teachers, we're looking for mentors, and we're looking for investors. Now, we're not quite at the investment part yet, but we are looking for people to share their ideas, share what they've seen in the market, share what best practices they have. As far as mentors, like I said, we have 6 critical areas that we're looking to produce content for, so we need people to participate in these videos, as well as teachers. So with that, I want to thank you all. I want to thank the Summer Launch Program, and this has been a great experience. And like I said, it was a lot of work this summer, but I came in and really feel like I figured out a lot and have a lot to work with. So thank you all, and have a good day.
All right, now let's welcome Michael Healy with Roundtable.
All right, so I'm Michael Healy. I'm a rising junior at Georgetown, and I study ancient Greek. So through my studies, I fell in love with the idea of the Athenian assembly, right? So this is part of their Athenian democracy, this idealistic democracy. And part of the assembly was called, in Greek, the ekklesia. In the ekklesia, any Athenian citizen could come and voice their opinion on what to do about current affairs facing Athens. And since this was a governing body, these average citizens had a real chance to decide what was happening. And so when I started this program, I wanted to build a platform that reinvented the ekklesia for today's world, right? So it was an online discussion platform that would give average citizens the chance to share their opinions coherently and intelligently online. And so I started doing interviews. And in the first couple weeks, I did over 30 user interviews. And I began with a really wide customer segment, right? So I talked to people that were my age all the way up to my parents' age. And everybody came back to me and told me that there was too much vitriol and toxicity in online debate, right? And so while they want to understand how other people think about issues, they're probably not going to be willing to pay for some solution because the current state of online discussion is not very great. And so I narrowed my customer segment, right? I looked for the people who really needed to understand different perspectives to do their jobs well. And so I looked at local governments. Right? Local governments should be able to understand their constituent preferences in order to draft great policy. And so I did over 15 interviews with these 5 local governments in the DMV area. And what I found was that communication is just broken, right? These governments told me that at best, they'll receive 1 to 3% of constituent engagement on the biggest issues, like a yearly operating budget. So it's really hard for them to take risks because they're not well informed about what their constituents want, right? And so learning this, we made a pivot. So I went away from the online discussion platform, and I turned to Roundtable. And Roundtable connects local elected officials with better constituent data. And we're already getting excitement from the local elected officials in this area, right? We already heard that if they could get more feedback, it'll be a game changer because they'll be more informed on how to draft better policy. And so how are we going to get constituent engagement? Right, for now, we want to do a mobile app, QR codes, and partnerships and incentives. Right, so we can offer our constituents something more than just the opportunity to be civically involved. And where are we right now, right? So currently, we're in development, and we're developing our platform. And we've already heard from a great company called OmniAlert that does emergency text message polling, and they're willing to let us do an MVP with their services so we can sort of test our constituent engagement ideas. Because it's really hard, I guess, to motivate constituents that don't currently communicate with their elected officials. And lastly, we want to run a pilot program this coming fall. So we're preparing for that, and we're gauging interest from the officials that we know right now. And so our team is great, right? So there's myself, current Georgetown student. We all have Paul Healy, who's currently at Yale Law School. Caleb Bowers is our programmer. And lastly, Josiah Laney is our sole advisor, and he's in my year at Georgetown. And so my ask for you today, it's really simple. I want more connections to local government, right? The mentors of this program have heard this ask before, and they've done a great job in giving me their connections, but I want to extend it to all of you today as well. So I'm talking mayors, city council members, county supervisors, and legislative aides as well. So anything below the state level government. So thank you guys.
All right, next up is Batel Tika and Shalom Bekele with Tef Bar.
Good evening. All right, so nutrient-dense and plant-based whole ingredients combine to make a one-of-a-kind, let me start over again, sorry. Nutrient-dense and plant-based food ingredients combine to make a one-of-a-kind energy bar that features a superfood called TEF that is, I'm gonna start again. All right. Nutrient-dense and plant-based ingredients combine to form a one-of-a-kind energy bar featuring a superfood that has yet to hit the market. My name is Batel Tika.
And my name is Shalom Bekele.
And we're the founders of TEF Energy Bar. How many of you in the room desire to be lean and strong, confident and healthy?
How many of you ever experienced any of these symptoms? It could be a cause from being lack of magnesium, iron, or zinc.
So how many of you guys in this room have ever had Ethiopian food? Okay. So if you guys know, the dough-like flatbread that you've ever eaten, it is made out of an ingredient called teff, and teff is a one-of-a-kind ingredient that is, it's a grain that is only unique to Ethiopia and Eritrea, and it's rich in magnesium, iron, zinc, and it has all of the nutrients that you would need. So our bar that we make is excellent for protecting your colon.
It helps control your blood sugar levels, maintaining a healthy weight. It has all 8 essential amino acids, vitamins B, C, and K. It's compared to quinoa, teff has 3 times the calcium, 1/3 the fat, and 2 times the iron.
It actually has more iron than red meat. It helps boost collagen and stimulates the production of white and red blood cells, and it helps improve circulation, increases bone health, and boosts the immune system. It has a whole host of benefits. Actually, this is what a nutritionist has to say about teff. A nutritionist of over 30 years and a life coach has said that teff is really good at promoting a healthy microbiome, a gut microbiome, and it helps keep your blood sugar levels at the same rate.
So this beautiful summer, get it? Can you guys laugh at that? It took time on that, okay. We conducted over 100 customer interviews, 10 different recipe trials, actually numerous, not even 10, we did more than that. We got insight from not one, not two, but
three different nutritionists, and we did a blind taste test featuring Lead Energy bars, RX, and Kind, and
Are you
we
guys familiar with these
consecutively
bars?
found that our bars were the best. They were #1 ranked out of 10 individuals, 8 individuals. Out of the 10 individuals, 8 individuals liked our bars the best.
Did you guys hear that part? Out of 10
people,
8 liked ours the best, #1.
So this is our current work. So we're currently at the Glover's Park Farmers Market, and we plan to expand to more farmers markets in the DMV area. We are in Ethiopian markets, restaurants, and coffee shops. We hope to get into the Corp at Georgetown University, and we plan to use the Union Kitchen Food Accelerator so that we can push our product forward and hopefully get it into small retail markets like Mom's Organics. Okay, so this is the story. I was born and raised in Ethiopia, so I've had a firsthand experience on the educational system and what it means to grow up in a poverty-stricken, developing country. And this is me right here. I have a strong passion for helping these children and helping get them the resources and the help that they need so they can follow through, get a primary and secondary education, and go off to college and get better opportunities. The only thing that separates me from these children is the opportunities that I've gotten. And me and Shalom, at this university, we've worked countlessly and tirelessly to help these students and to do whatever we can through organizations that we've gotten involved in. This is my adopted school that I adopted in high school, and in about a week I'll be going to Ethiopia. I've gained a $15,000 grant to go and do research there, talking about the importance of why gender roles prohibit young girls from getting higher education. So we ask you guys right here to give us connections to local farmers markets and small retailers, to sign up and support our TEF bar. And we have a limited number of bars here for you guys. So if you're willing.
If you're lucky.
And if you're lucky,
to
honestly.
get a bar today.
It's tough luck if you don't. Tough luck. If you are willing and lucky, if you will get a bar, and the money that you will give us, whatever bid that you give us, we will donate it 100% to a nonprofit in Ethiopia that I will be visiting within a week. I'm sorry for the for the nervousness. You know, this program has been something that me and Shalom have really grown and changed. We didn't come here thinking that it's going to be easy. It's really hard for us to be up here and to be speaking to you guys with confidence like this. But we have worked so hard. Our mentors have been, out of this world. I mean, Shai, Mark,
Howard. I don't want to start naming because I'm going to forget somebody.
Jill, oh my goodness. I know, Laura, everybody. You guys have been amazing.
Every single body.
And this has been just an amazing journey, and I mean, TEF is going to do large things. I know that it has the ability to. It's a great superfood, and we have a really great corporate social responsibility that we're asking people to get a part in. And so we hope that our company goes far, and we have faith, and we know that through the hard work and getting into these small retailers, starting at Mom's Organics, and then slowly to Whole Foods, we'll begin to grow and generate funds and do big things. The tiny grain that's doing big things.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And last but not least, we have Fax a Million Victor with Light After Death.
All right, good morning. Oh, wow. All right, let's redo this. All right, good evening. My name is Fax a Million Victor, and this is my company, Light After Death. Headstones at an unbeatable price without the sacrifice. Now let's take a look at this first photo here. You see this handsome fellow there? Yeah, that's my dad, but everyone calls him Pops. Pops is a neighborhood legend in the city of Boston. And to the right here, meet my grandma, Elaine, or everyone calls her Nana. Nana lived in Bed-Stuy, and she was a single mother of 13 children. Think about that, 13 children. You can bet your best dollar she's a pretty good damn cook. In fact, Nana would often welcome every and anyone to her apartment. As long as they saw the light on in there, you can bet she was probably cooking. It got to the point, in fact, that Nana would actually have to shut off the light and cook in the dark just to get some rest for the next day. And then one day, and then a few days after that, no light would ever come out that apartment again. Nana suffered from a stroke. She passed away. And my dad laid there hugging the same exact portrait to his chest, thinking about the memories him and his mother shared. And he lay there in the dark, telling everyone else that Nana is no longer there. And a few years passed, and my dad decided to take my brothers, Breeze and Love, and I to go visit my grandma in New York. And we went to the cemetery, and we couldn't even read her name, let alone even see the date. It was just too dark. My dad tried to take out his flip phone and try to shine the light. It didn't work. And as he put his phone away, I could just see the agony. He was just deeply saddened because that day, he just wanted to see his mom, but he couldn't. And so we went home that day. My brother decided to cheer my pops up. And my older brother, Breeze, he grabbed his Jordan shoe box, and he said, yo, we gonna make a headstone. And so he grabbed the butter knife, and he started cutting out the letters R.I.P., and he cut a hole up top to shine Love's flashlight, and I decided to grab the aluminum foil. That was my idea, and make it shine brighter. And then we shut the lights off, we called our dad in, and we said, Pops, come check this out. And he stood there at the door, quiet, and he whispered, hey, Mama, look what your boys have done. And from there, we pretty much just took off. I mean, we was cutting out numbers and letters and sheetrock, and before you know it, we were laser cutting names and dates out of granite stones. We was building boxes with lights inside, and we placed solar panels up top. And before you know it, we had our patent solar-powered illuminated headstone. Now, mind you, I was in like the 6th or 7th grade when this all happened. My older brother, he was in the 11th grade. And I say this to show that we didn't really know what we was doing. We wasn't trying to really create a business. We were just trying to solve our dad's problem. But as I learned later on, especially with the help of the summer launch, if I want to create a valuable product, I knew that I'm going to have to solve not just my dad's problems, but many or more. And so, from there, summer launch has helped me actually reinvestigate the grieving process with 48 serious interviews that I conducted. From right after someone loses a loved one through the many different hoops that they jump through. From visiting funeral homes, cemeteries, negotiating contracts with monument companies. I wanted to learn what people were going through. And I wanted to test 2 critical assumptions that I had. 1, headstones were way too expensive. And 2, people wanted to see the names of their loved ones light up like my dad. The first critical assumption, headstones were indeed too expensive. I researched and surveyed 13 different monument companies and cemeteries in the greater Boston area and found that the average price for an upright headstone to be about $4,000. That doesn't even include installation costs. And for us, it only costs us $2,500. That's our sticker price. And throughout my interviews, 31 out of 48 of our interviewees, they said that money is the top priority in deciding whether or not to purchase one and when and where. And in regards to the light, I'll be honest, people thought it was really nice and cute, if that. People didn't even go visit the cemeteries that often, maybe once or twice. And when they did do that, they went during the day. But another question that I asked stood out, and it was pretty much, is your headstone doing enough to remember your loved one right now? And every single interviewee told me, absolutely not. And this got me thinking about the ways we choose to remember our loved ones. From the funeral homes, to the cemeteries, to the monument companies, and even to my company. Am I doing enough? And quite frankly, we're not. And so, although I will continue to pursue selling headstones, we already sold 8, our customers have raved that they are affordable and they offer a different personalization touch that other companies cannot offer. Through my interviews, I learned that people were interacting with the headstones. When they go visit, sometimes they even brought a photo of their loved one, or they may look at the headstone and talk with it and think about the memories that them and their dad shared at 6 Flags. Or they maybe sit down and write a journal about something that happened today that they wanted to share with their loved one. And so this leads me to not only continue to pursue selling our headstones, but also to actually pivot into creating a mobile app that allows users to upload photos, videos, and any type of document so that when they visit the cemetery, they can just open the app and go through the memories. And for anyone that happens to be walking by a headstone with a QR code, they can give it a scan and learn more about who this person is and what they meant to this world. And for people that are even far away, they can't even make the trip to go see their loved one and then runs through their mind, they can open the app and go through the memories that are there. And so today I ask for you all that if you are interested in what I'm talking about, and if you are real well-versed in mobile app development, please come holler at me. And then, before I like to leave you with one note, this all started because we wanted to light up Nana's name. We wanted to feel what everyone else felt when they looked into that park and they saw her, then she was there. And before us, there was no lights in the cemetery. Now there's 8 shining bright. And hopefully one day you'll be able to walk to the cemetery and scan and learn more about the people that are there. And if you're lucky, and if you really, really are lucky enough, you can walk by Nana's headstone and give it a scan, and you may find her famous recipes. Thank you.
Well, that is it. Thank you so much to our amazing participants. Let's give them one more round of applause. All right. Okay. And now I believe we have some more awards to give out.
We do, yes. Thank you very much. So what'd you think? Pretty good? Yeah? All right. So incredibly inspiring, and as always, every one of you really rose to the occasion, so congratulations. We have big checks for some of these folks. Now, when I say big checks, it's not for a lot of money, but they're literally really big checks. It's the next best thing that we can do on our startup budget. But we should also mention that without our incredible donors that help support our summer launch, we wouldn't be able to provide anything, let alone even support this facility and do the things we need to do. And so I think there's someone here tonight. Mark, if you'd be willing to come up and help me. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you. Mark Silverman is going to help me hand out the big checks that he helps make possible. And so these awards that we give out are somewhat eclectic, and they are done through a culmination of surveying the teams as well as our summer launch mentors. And then me and Jeff thumb wrestle over the last couple until we figure it out. And so the first category of the award is for businesses that have actually tripped into something that we think could use a little extra boost because we think they're actually pretty close to bringing something to the marketplace. And the first award winner for that, our Rocket Fuel Award, goes to Delegate Dash. Yeah, that's you. That's you, Will. Congratulations. Move forward. You want to get the light off my head? I got it. It's better? Is that like Avatar? Very good. Thank you. Congratulations. Well done. And for our second, oh, this is exciting. It's sort of like an envelope, except already opened. Very large envelope. And our second Rocket Fuel Award goes to Roundtable. The next category is our what we call a Lean Startup Excellence Award. And this is for the teams that most diligently followed the process. Although I'm sure as you saw tonight again, clearly this is a category that every one of these teams could easily be winning this award. Unfortunately, we only have a couple. But tonight, we're going to give our first award to Unveil. Yeah, you're good. All right. Awesome. And our second Lean Excellent Award goes to Tef Bar. You can take that check back home. Awesome. And do we have anything left? We have one left. So, you know, as Mark pointed out earlier, one of the greatest pleasures about working with the students and all the people around our Georgetown community is really that what they bring to the table. And it's so much about their impact on society. And at Georgetown, one of our values is women and men for others. It's people supporting other people. And as you can see, almost every one of these projects had a social impact element to it. And so again, after carefully tabulating the votes, we're going to give a little boost to the Spirit of Georgetown Award tonight. Is going to Facsimilian for Light After Death.
All right. With that, we are going to conclude our formal program tonight. Stick around. That's right. We got one more. While we're bringing up this one more, I just want to remind everybody, if you haven't seen our Venture Lab, go check it out. It's right through this door. You just got to go look and see. It's amazing to check it out. Enjoy the food and drinks, too. So, special award. That's right. I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah, it was Audible. They called an Audible backstage. So, you know, when you mentor, and I got to ask all of our entrepreneurs in residence and our experts on call, please stand up for a moment. Please, Jessica, Mike, everyone. So these are our colleagues that really make the engine run. So Mark and I talk about this all the time, and as with Jeff and the rest of the team, that if the students did nothing else but simply meet one-on-one and get this kind of mentoring, they would still accelerate far more than any of the teaching or anything else we could do. So they're really important to the program. And they're very highly compensated. And so one of the high asset value items that we like to give out from time to time is a plaque. Because, you know, when you get a plaque, you know you've done something pretty special, right? So, so everybody worked really hard this summer, exceptionally hard, but there was one person that really went above and beyond, who volunteered to stay after time and time again, who ran some special programs for us to help people run their experiments, and who came here and triaged all day on Tuesday and then again on Wednesday to help prepare those incredible presentations that you saw this evening. And that man is Khurram Zaman. You never forget your first plaque.
All right. One more thanks to Shai and Mark and our leaders of our summer launch program. This is summer launch is always exciting. It's that time of year, like we don't have distractions like classes and stuff like that. So the students can focus on these startups. This is kind of also the conclusion of our 12-month cycle. And of course, we start up again in just a couple of weeks with a new school year. We want to celebrate all the cool things. Our program tripled in size over the last year. We opened the Venture Lab. We launched an Entrepreneurship Minor. We had a successful pivot program. We had an international entrepreneurial program. Georgetown Entrepreneurship is thriving and growing. We're excited to have all of you be a part of this. Stick around. Enjoy some networking. Come to talk to the participants. They all had an ask. Come find them and find ways to help them. Thanks, everybody. We look forward to seeing you at our next event.